It's not a anime for children, and basically because it's basically about a bunch of women that are fighting each other for the right to face the queen, and if they beat the queen, then they become like the queen of the land or something. And I don't know if they get a queen's blade. I've never really watched it all the way to the end. I've watched some episodes, but basically every time they fight, one of them gets their top ripped off and their boobies pop out. So I can't recommend kids to see it. If you're an adult, I recommend watching it, if not for just seeing some animated boobs. But that's basically what it is. I mean, it's fan service all day. But Revoltech seems to be the main company that makes these. I'm not a big fan of Revoltech in general, and you'll see why when I show you her. But this is the box. I guess this is the stock number or the item number, LR017 or LR017. Her name is Airi, Legacy of Revoltech. It's the side of the box, has some kanji on the side there. I can't read kanji, so if somebody can tell me what that says, it'd be great. Here are some pictures on the back, which are some of them are okay. You got her kind of jumping up in the air with this one. Or I guess just kind of jumping up in the air holding her scythe. Then this one's she's just kind of standing there holding the scythe. That looks like a close up of her face. But then we get down to these, which are yeah, they are what they are. She's kind of making some O faces on the back there, and they are questionable pictures, but you wouldn't be surprised if you actually saw the anime. It's the other side of the box, top of the box, bottom of the box. So with that being said, let's go ahead and bust this open and see what we got here. So take her out of the package. To the side, there she is. Oh, whoa. Uh-oh. Kind of lost my table a little bit there. So that's all right. Let's see. Whoops. Let's kind of aim this down a little bit more. Okay, so here she is in her clamshell. You can see what she comes with. She comes with an alternate face, some hands, another chest piece, or I guess a piece for the front of her maid's uniform, and another leg. Then the pole for her scythe, one scythe blade and the second scythe blade with some purple fire on it. And she comes with some, you can't see it really in the box because the box is black and these pieces are translucent plastic, but there are two little purple flames in there. So we'll go ahead and take the top cover off, and we got the figure. So before, oh, and there goes an arm, and that is part of my issue with Revoltech. But again, I'll get to that later. In the meantime, let's just go over what comes in the package. Oh, so we got, let's see here. Back up a little bit. There we go. We have one scythe blade. As you can see, it's done pretty well. It's got a nice metallic. silver metallic paint wash to it, and then it's got like a some dark shading here on the blade. Nice. I guess it's like a copperish kind of I think our thing that holds the blade, I guess. I know it's kind of coming off kind of yellowish here under this lighting. Lighting's not the best, but that is silver. So that's what that blade looks like. Then we got a second blade here. Same exact blade, except it has some purple translucent flames on the tip. And you can kind of see, I guess you can't really tell that they're purple. It's kind of hard to see that they're purple, but they are purple. It's pretty cool. And same dark wash at the top of the blade there. It's the other side of the blade. Basically the same blades. They're basically the same, except for one has the purple flames on it. Then she comes with two little translucent flames that I was telling you about in the box, and they're done really well. And I'll show you how those go on her when we get the figure out. The front part of her maid uniform, it's done really nicely with a kind of a matte black paint, matte white, or just a plain white. It's supposed to be tattered. And she comes with two hands that aren't really, I guess they're just kind of posing hands. I don't know what you would really do with these. They're just kind of awkwardly bent. I don't know, but they're done pretty well. I mean, they have some shading on them. They don't have any fingernails though, so you can't see any fingernails. But they're done all right. It's not too bad. I've seen worse. And then here's her O-face. Just, oh, I'm so sad and I'm hurt and I don't know. It's just her O-face. You can see it's done nicely. It's odd. It's oddly proportioned though. Like the way that her head is shaped. It's like it gets thin down here and then it's like gets this huge forehead. It's weird how they made that, but when I show you the figure, this part kind of gets covered up, but she has a big forehead. But it's done nicely. The painting on it is done nicely. She has kind of some rosy cheeks. You can kind of see that there. Cheeks are kind of rosy. So they're not. It's done really nicely. So, I mean, when it comes to that Revoltech, I mean, the paint is nice. It's just their joints are really wacky, and I'm going to show you that now. So here's the figure. And here's a close-up of the face that comes on her. So she has really nice green eyes. They're done very well. Nice expression on her face. Can't really tell that she even has a nose. She kind of doesn't look like she really has a nose, but there's a little thing sticking out there. So I guess that's supposed to be the nose. Her little maids. I don't know what's this called. I don't know what this is called. What babe, what would this little thing on her head be called? Can you see that? Is that like a bandana? What is that? What would that be called?
A headband?
A headband, that's what I'm looking for. Hey, I'm not a girl, so I don't know. I don't wear headbands. So, yeah, there you go. Maid's headband. So, that's done pretty well. It's a hard plastic. It doesn't move. It's actually attached to her bangs. Unfortunately, you do have an unsightly seam line there that's plainly obvious that it's ugly. It's ugly. I mean, granted, you're always going to have a seam line there on most of these imported figures that have swappable faces, but that's just bad. The bows are done very well, as you can see. So that's nice. Then her boobies. Her boobies are done nicely. The bow on the boobs are nice. She has a nice little fringe around the front of her little maid uniform there. The collar is a soft plastic, so it's not going to get in the way of any type of articulation or anything like that. Her bow on her dress is really soft plastic, so all this bottom piece is soft plastic. So any articulation as far as the leg is concerned is going to be pretty open, because all this stuff is really movable. And this is a floating kind of like a floating crotch piece or a floating skirt. So, you know, nothing, anytime the legs are moved, this could possibly go up. So basically what I'm saying is no articulation is going to be hindered. All of this is hard plastic. This her shoulders, her arm piece here is a hard plastic. This bow is a hard plastic. These bows are hard plastic. These bows in particular, I can see those easily breaking. These little tassels, I can see those easily breaking if you mess around with them too much. They give a little bit, but I wouldn't mess with them too much. The stockings are done okay, I guess. You know, I mean, they're done okay. You know, I mean, for Revoltech, it is what it is. They're done all right. They're sculpted, so that's nice. But you just got this wacky joint on the legs. It's just, I don't know. I'll explain it in articulation. Then her little maid boots or slippers or whatever are nice. They're nicely done and painted. There's just a flat matte black paint. So that's basically it for the paint and everything. And this is one of the hands that she has here, and it's kind of big, I would say, and kind of deformed, really, the way that these are her holding hands. Like, she's supposed to hold her staff with this, and it's really hard to get her staff in these hands because they don't really grip it very well. And this one too, this is part of, they're awkwardly bent for grabbing, but they're not very, I don't know really how to say it. They're just not grasping enough, you know, to really hold the handle of the scythe very well. So I don't know. I can get it in there. I'll show you. You can get it in there, but you just gotta really arrange these hands in a certain way to actually hold it right. And there goes the arm again. So with that happening, let's go ahead and get to the articulation. So, let's talk about the good part of the articulation. So her hair, first of all, All this is hard plastic, so, and like I said, just like these tassels, they give a little bit but not much. She has a hinge joint on her hair, so you can pose her hair anyway, and they come out really easily, as do basically all the joints on her, which is one of the problems, but the hair isn't that bad. So both sides can do it. As you can see, there's a hole there, and this hole is for the flames that she comes with in the box. So that's the one problem that I have. So this flame, I don't know if these flames are supposed to go specifically on one side or the other, but I can't get the flame to sit right in this peg hole. I can get the flames to sit fine in this one. You know, bam, that one's in there, and it sits fine in there. It's out a little bit, but it's not out that far. This one, on the other hand, I cannot seem to. Where's my other piece at? Oh, there it goes. This one, on the other hand, I can't get to go in there correctly. It just doesn't. It's just kind of frustrating to try to put this in here, because you put it in there and you find yourself trying to jam it in there. Yeah, it actually went in there all right that time. But that's about as good as you're going to get this one. And if you look really closely, I don't know if my camera can pick it up, but I got like some stress marks there from me trying to jam this in there, because it won't fit. It just won't fit flush into her hair like this one does. You can barely see that peg sticking out, but you can obviously, it's blatant that this one is sticking out. And I mean, it's a minor thing, but it's just kind of frustrating. As far as anything else, like her hair, I probably should have went over this when I did the paint, but her hair is kind of dull. There's nothing going on as far as the hair actually that's on her scalp. It's just flat red paint, no sculpting, nothing. She looks like she has a bald red head with red ponytail sticking out of it. It's kind of stupid, and some bangs, which the bangs are sculpted nicely, but no sculpt in the hair. I mean, who has hair like this? Nobody has hair like that. Didn't they have this odd seam line going down the middle of it that makes it look like a butt? So she has a butt head. I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense. So that's kind of disappointing. But anyway, her head can go up. So she has a Revoltech joint on her head. So it's her little ratchet joint. So it's from the neck. She technically doesn't have any. Her neck is attached to her. Her neck is attached to her head. That's not a separate piece. So all the articulation is going to be in the neck. Which, I don't know about you, but I like my women to have all the articulation in the neck. No, I'm just kidding. I'm probably going to edit that part out. But you get it? Articulation in the neck? No, she doesn't. No, never mind. She doesn't get it. She doesn't get it. Anyway, so the joint is in the neck. It's in the head, but the neck is attached to the head. So, and this piece is a separate piece, so that falls out every time you take the head off. So with that being said, when she looks up, her whole neck comes with her, and you can kind of see the joint in the neck, but she can look up quite a bit because of that. If you pull it too much, though, you're going to pop her head off. So when you're posing, if you're posing her to look up, you're going to want to kind of hold down this collar piece and just kind of hold it up, and that's the maximum amount that you're going to get her to look up. Then same way going down. If you pull it too much, you're going to pop the head off. But she can look down quite a bit. So that's up, that's down, and she's kind of loosed up. Oh, and this is part of my complaint here. The joints are loose everywhere. Like the smallest amount of movement is knocking everything apart. Everything is falling apart. Her shoulders, her arms can go up that far. Oof, and there goes the arm popping off, because the arm, this piece of her outfit, if it runs into the which this is soft plastic, so when it runs into the collar piece, it pops the arm off, and the arm comes off really easily. So she can go at least parallel, you know, so that's good enough. I mean, she doesn't really need to be raising her hands up anymore. If you want her to raise her hand up more, I guess you can do that. I mean, she can, the arm can turn 360. It's on a Revoltech ratchety joint. If you know anything about Revoltech, they got ratchet joints everywhere. The elbow, she doesn't, I guess you can call this a upper biceps swivel. Spins only that much. She has a Revoltech joint on her elbow, so she gets good range of motion there. And a lot of people complain about the Revoltech joints. They are, God damn it, they are there for a reason. They have their own special joints. So the joints, a lot of people complain about them looking ugly. I don't really have much of a problem with the way that they look. I mean, they serve a purpose. I just wish that the purpose that they were trying the purpose that the reason that they made these joints, you know, the way that they are, I just wish they executed it a little bit better. I mean, there's no reason for this arm to pop off so easily. It's just frustrating. And then her wrist she just has a ball peg in her wrist, so she can go up and down. You just twist that wrist around, or you twist that peg around. You can get them to go different ways. So that's that. She does have an ab crunch, but she doesn't have any upper. She doesn't have like an upper torso section that's separated. So all her ab crunch is going to be in her waist. So this is another thing. Just like the head, if you pull too hard, if you crunch her too hard, you're going to pull her whole torso off. So she can lean forward quite a bit, and you can hear the ratchet joint. So this is about as far as she can lean over before you pull the whole body off. It's just nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. So say this is her standing. It's not quite. Is that? Yeah. Say this is her standing up straight. Say that's her standing up straight. Then she has 1, 2 clicks. So you're going to get 2 clicks out of the ab crunch forward. Then backwards, eliminating those 2 clicks that we just did to get her straight. Backwards, and there's the head. And we got, let me see here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 4 clicks back. So she can get way more. She can bend backwards way more than she can bend forwards. Which, I mean, if you're like a contortionist, you could typically go both ways. But I guess her joint is backwards, so I don't know. Like I said, this is a soft piece, so when it comes to the leg articulation, again, Revoltech, they have like a Y. This looks like maybe a Y joint in the crotch. So when you try to get her to kick up, it spins. You can't. Well, you can kind of get it to go straight up, but you really got to work with it to get it to go straight up. But she can kick about that high, and the dress doesn't get in the way. Revoltech joint in the knee can bend that far. Single joint, single jointed foot, ankle joint. That's also ratcheted. You can't hear it as loud as the knee, but it is there. And she does have ankle pivot if you twist the joint around. She doesn't naturally have it unless you pull her foot out a little bit. You might want to pull the foot out a little bit, and then even if you pull the foot out a little bit, you can't get it, because the way that the peg is set up, damn it, the way that the peg is set up in the foot, if I can get that out, the way that the peg is set up in the foot, in order to get an ankle tilt out of a foot joint without having to turn the peg, turn and I can't get the light in there, but the way that the peg sits down into the foot, it goes straight in it. And typically you want it to angle a little bit, and then you can get the foot to twist. But you can't really do it in this one, because you can get it a little bit. Since I loosened it up, well, actually that joint is turned, but the joint is turned now, so I can get the ankle tilt, but I can't get any up and down motion with the foot. So you're most likely going to want the joint to be turned this way, so you can get the up and down motion with the foot, but you lose the ankle tilt, because the peg goes straight instead of going curved, and then the boot is too deep. It's too deep into the peg, so the boot can't turn. And as you can see, I didn't even notice this. Her leg fell off. I didn't even notice that. Fucking leg fell off. And then on top of that, she is bow-legged as hell. What is wrong with her legs? Who made these legs? How do you make a leg like this? Look at this. This is absolute nonsense. Why is she bow-legged like that? They're completely, I don't even know the word for it. This leg is somewhat acceptable. This leg is acceptable. It can go, it's kind of straight up and down. Oh, I didn't tell you, she also has an upper thigh swivel. But this leg is acceptable. This is passable for a leg. This leg looks broken. It looks like somebody kicked her in her knee. And there's no way that I can get this to be straight. I can't straighten that. Even the foot is off. This whole leg is just warped. I don't know, maybe I can put it under a dryer or something and try to get the plastic to heat up the plastic a little bit to bend it. But this is as straight out the box. This is as straight as you're gonna get it. And in some angles you can pull it off, but in most angles, in any dynamic posing, she's gonna look bow-legged. Any posing that you're gonna have with her, she's gonna she's gonna look like her legs are all bowed and dismembered or dislocated, and it's just not acceptable for the amount of money that you pay for some of these. So anyway, that it's just weak joints everywhere. Weak joints everywhere. This bootleg Mikasa Ackerman, I can understand weak joints. This is a piece of crap. This is QC. This is no QC at all. This is QC. This at least it's supposed to be. And you still getting this crap. This is obvious. This is an obvious problem. This is crap. This was $20. This was like $40. And I'm starting to wonder, like, did they just charge $40 because she can see her boobs if you take off her top? Who cares? I mean, I care, but I want better leg joints. That doesn't mean you can jack up her legs because you can see her boobs. That's all I'm saying. And that's enough of a rant. Anyway, so to swap her face out, this is really ugly, but I'm kind of torn between whether I like this move or not. This kind of hinge just up like that when all the other ones you just take it straight off. This is a kind of a hinge thing, and you take the face off. I mean, I guess they were trying to be different, and they succeeded in doing that. But at the same time, it just seems kind of lazy. It seems lazy. That's what I'm going to say. It seems lazy. I can't get this headpiece. I can't get her face off. Let me see if I can get this. And the face is on there really tight. And you can't really grab it either. There we go. And so then we'll put the other face on. Just a lot of laziness went into making this figure. It's just how much more money would it have cost them to make a proper leg? Never mind. No, I mean, just how much money would it cost them to put some sculpting in the head or in the hair, or make this a separate piece so I can get the face off easier instead of this? You know, I don't know. And then I'm gonna take the top off camera, because if some kids watch this, I don't want parents calling or writing into YouTube or leaving comments in the comments about how I'm showing pornography on YouTube. So here, I'm just gonna take this off camera. And it's become very difficult. Okay, so this is her separate. So here she is with her O face. And like I said, once you cover it up with the bangs, you don't see that. You don't see her gigantic forehead. And then this is her with her tattered maid uniform on, so you can see her boobs a lot more. I'm not going to really start turning her in any way, because you're going to start seeing some nipple action, and I don't want to show any nipple action. So that's that. And then, oh, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to show off her other leg. I completely missed a piece. She has another separate leg that's tattered and torn like the rest of her when she's fighting. So that piece, this leg is, I guess this is a left leg. Is that a left leg? I don't know which side this leg is supposed to go on. I'm gonna try the left one, just because I hate this leg. So I'm gonna see if we can get this joint out of this leg, and we'll stick it in this tattered one. See if it'll go in there. This is right. If you see it, if you can. No, actually, I think they're the same. Oops, sorry. I thought that this peg was a little thicker than this side, but it looks like they're the same. So let me see if I can get this piece into this leg. Do I have to go this way? Oh shit. Oh. It's hard to do this with big ass hands. It's really hard to do it. I can't get it in there. Oh, maybe this isn't the right leg. Let's see. No. Both of the legs are the same. It goes in there fine. So I can't get it in this peg. This hole is smaller than this hole. These holes are not made the same. This peg hole is a lot thicker. Yeah, this peg hole is a lot smaller, and it's too small for this damn peg. So I can't get it in there. I can't get it in there. It won't fit. Another problem. I've never done that. I've never tried to put this leg on. So I don't know what happened. I'll have to heat that up with a hairdryer or something and try to get that on. But even looking at it, I don't know it looks like it would go on this side. Looking at it, I already think now it looks like she has a horse leg, like the hind legs of a horse. It's weird, but front it doesn't look bad, but from the side you can see it's weird. It looks like a centaur. It looks like what are those things called? Half human, half goat. What are those things called? No, are they centaurs? I don't think they're called centaurs. I don't know. But yeah, that's what she would look like a centaur or half man, half goat thing. So, and let me just put her back together really quick. So in conclusion, what I recommend, you know what, I didn't show you the scythe, the 2 scythe blades, so, and the handle. So this is the handle, and it's done really well. I didn't show that off either. Probably because I was too pissed about the rest of the figure, but that's what that looks like. It's really detailed, so that's really cool. And my girlfriend is huffing and puffing. I think she wants to go to bed. So let me finish this up. I'll wrap it up. So this just fits into the handle here, and she can kind of hold it if you can. So sits in this hand. Sits in this hand. All right. So well, you thought it did. Then I lied. It sits in his hand, okay, but then, like, how do you configure this hand to fit it? It just doesn't fit it very well. You try to slide it into her fingertips, and she's just kind of holding it with her fingertips, which is not ideal whatsoever. But I mean, it's the best that you can get. And so, I mean, you can kind of get her holding it up. You know, when I pose her, I'll have it something like this with the other face. I don't know. Just what I recommend, hell no. Hell no, I wouldn't recommend this. Shit is falling apart everywhere. So, anyway, wrapping this up, Revoltech, you gotta do better than this. I think this is an older figure, so maybe it's gotten better since this one come out. This was a re-release, so maybe they've gotten better since then, but I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna pick up any more of these. If I do, I'll review them, and I'm probably going to be just as pissed about getting those as I am about getting her. But I wouldn't recommend anybody get them. They're just kind of junky. Other than that, guys, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. Keep collecting, and have a great rest of your day. Peace.